Austin's friend Derek tells him that he cannot light himself on fire just to keep someone warm. And that someone is Becca. And this is one of the most ridiculous analogies I have heard. I would classify Derek's statement as
Stupid. Stoopid.
and if Austin is taking advice from his boy, he may have bigger problems than just Becca wanting sex from him.
Welcome to Cliff Alerts. Today we're going to be talking about Lifetime Network's reality-based TV series, Married at First Sight, season number 17, episode number 19.
So things have flipped for Austin and Becca.
Beginning of this episode, they are going to a pottery making class. Build trust back that seems to have been damaged through this activity.
The topic of conversation is when the cameras are on, Austin is present, and when they're not, he's off somewhere doing his thing. And she now feels that it's time for her to start speaking up and letting him know that this is what's happening. So that's why there's a disconnect between them. Austin is having a hard time because he thinks that Becca is calling him combative and defensive.
Yeah, and he also says that whenever we are on camera, it doesn't seem like you make me look good on camera.
Yes, he's having a problem with that.
What does that sound like?
It sounds like Brennan. The same words that came out of Brennan is now coming out of Austin. Becca was cold in the room where they were doing the pottery. And she went and she got Austin's jacket to put on. And he said, "Here's the jacket, but could you wash your hands?" And she took offense. He's saying you could use the jacket, but wash your hands. He doesn't want that pottery stuff on his jacket. I couldn't understand why she would get so put out because he asked her to wash her hands. Is it me?
Yeah, you a germaphobe. Things are hypersensitive right now between these two in terms of what can be and cannot be said without kind of triggering the other. Didn't need to say that. It kind of reminded me of a little poke, little jab at her.
Yeah, but they're pussyfooting around each other. If you got something to say, say it. Why are these people just talking around each other rather than to each other?
Well, I
It's
think
like they're on eggshells, and you can't build a relationship when you're walking on eggshells. It's crazy.
That might be what Austin is referencing when he says, um, about looking bad on camera. But I don't necessarily think that that is Becca's fault. I think Becca's trying to be authentic and genuine, but she might not be going about it the right way. But I think her intentions are good.
He said that she micromanages him somewhat, and as we said last week, nobody likes that at
Nope.
all. They're having an active argument about Austin's belief that Becca is saying words that doesn't represent who he is,
Right.
and he's upset about it. He and Derek get together.
Yeah, Derek is one of his boys, right?
Yes.
And they chop it up like guys do. And I'm wondering what kind of advice Derek was given to Austin and beyond, you got to look out for yourself, but at the same time, you also have to consider, your wife's feelings and all that as well. He said you can't light yourself on fire and then expect to keep somebody else warm.
If you're having problems, you need to have either a couple or friends that you can go to that may be a little smarter than you so they can talk sense to you. You don't go to someone who doesn't know what they're talking about.
This is the bone of contention, if you will, with Becca. Overly concerned about optics, and this is about what it is for real.
She may like him more than he does her.
Yes.
So when he comes back home now, they have an argument about the same thing.
Mm.
He packs his stuff and he leaves the apartment.
Right. So she says she really wanted to make this work, but she doesn't see how it can go going forward.
They make it work by talking to each other rather than at each other. She meets with the other woman And they talk about the men as if, on decision day, they're all gonna revolt.
Becca tells the ladies about her issues as it relates to Austin. She seems to have an amen sister in Emily because she conveys to the group that Austin has been sounding a lot like what Brennan sounded like from the very beginning. Overly concerned about how he appears on camera and not how things are legitimately or authentically.
Unfortunately, the behavior of this cast is wrecking this show. I think the men came in with one intention and the woman came in with another, all not getting what we thought we would be getting. Maybe that's not true. We're looking at this stuff, but our life goes on.
Gonna keep rolling. I ain't gonna lose no. I'm sure that it's legitimate to say that, hey, we only see a small portion of their lives and all that, so we really don't know these people. That's legitimate. There's no question about that. However, we do have the right to comment on what they show us that as it relates
Of
to their
that small
small portion
portion.